A very good afternoon to you and welcome to CoreTV News in this hour. I am Nena Nyama. The Senate today has ended its last plenary session for September without releasing the list of ministerial nominees. This is contrary to suggestion that the list of potential cabinet members had been delivered to the Senate President. Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio had first dropped a hint by expressing concern earlier in the day that the Senate had not received the list in line with the September deadline made by President Muhammadu Buhari. For his part, Deputy Majority Leader Bala I.B. Nala argued that September 30 would not end until midnight. But before the Senate adjourned at 1 p.m., there was no sign that the Senate President had received the ministerial list. Former Vice President and Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC, Atiku Abubakar, says Nigerians deserve a pat on the back for their perseverance in preserving the country since independence. He said this in a statement congratulating Nigerians on the occasion of the nation's 55th independence anniversary. The Turaki Adamawa noted that this year's celebration is significant because it coincides with a change of government when an opposition party took over power through a democratic, free and fair election. The former vice president identifies nation building as the greatest challenge facing the country, adding that Nigerians still need to improve the way they relate to one another. Atiku added that there is a need for the people to begin to see themselves first as Nigerians rather than one ethnic group or the other. 83 senators on Tuesday passed a vote of confidence in the President of the Senate, Olubukola Saraki, and other principal officers in the aftermath of his current travels at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The move followed a motion raised by David Umaru, representing Niger East, when the federal lawmakers resumed from a 6-week-long recess. One of the senators on the regional list openly dissociated himself from the motion because he was not consulted, while another caused a stir in the chamber. Our correspondent Basi Aye now reports.
The motion, which came as a matter of urgent public importance, was the second of the day. Senator David Umaru, representing Niger East, sponsored the motion that was designed to show that the Senate President has the backing of the majority in the chamber.
The need for this motion cannot be overemphasized in view of what we have even witnessed this morning. We are ready to work. The leadership and this Senate must perform its constitutional duties and responsibilities without fear or favor and without intimidation. It is in this light that we are bringing this motion so that we can reaffirm our commitment to our responsibilities and to affirm our independence as the Constitution has provided.
We have elected our leaders for the next 4 years. If anybody is dreaming outside this chamber, that is influence and action that will stabilize this chamber to go as it.
But a senator representing Osun East, Babajide Omoworare, was quick to dissociate himself from the original 84 that co-sponsored the motion. Coincidentally, he is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Rules and Business.
My name has been listed on this motion as number 11, Senator Jide Omoworare. Ordinarily, I would have known as the chairman of the Committee on Rules and Business by virtue of Order 97, Rule 2. But since it came under a matter of urgent public importance, under Order 42 and I believe Order 52, I wouldn't know, and I don't know, and I don't know that my name is on it. I wish to move, Mr. President, that my name is stopped.
Then there was drama as Kabiru Marafa made an unsuccessful bid to have a say on the issue. His discontent was not only directed at the Senate President, but also to some of his colleagues, until he was led out of the chamber.
Senator Marafa, distinguished Senator Marafa, you have to go by the book. You read 3.5. I've listened to you.
I didn't read it. Let me read it first.
Read 3.5.
Okay, sir. And 3.8. Then I read 3.6. Order
53.5.
Yes, 3.5, sir. It said, reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as might, in the opinion of the President of the Senate, prejudice the interests of the parties concerned. Mr. President,
now,
Mr. Bushwali,
read,
we are in court challenging the Constitution.
53.6.
We are in court challenging the Constitution.
Read 53.6. Feel your refusal to read 53.6. I have no other alternative than to rule you out of order.
With due respect, sir, you have not had me. You have not had
Leader of the Senate.
Thank you.
Yes, this is tyranny. I am not had. Yes, I called for point of order. I was not allowed to speak. And when I read it, Mr. President, put me out of order. Yes, I am contesting. I don't have. I do not.
After the dramatic scene, the Senate spokesman had this to say.
This action contravenes 3 sections of Section 56 of the Standing Rules of the Senate. It's disgraceful, it's unacceptable, it's condemnable, and the Senate regrets that.
This is the second time in 3 months that senators will be passing a vote of confidence on Saraki's leadership. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu says there are ongoing moves to publish false and defamatory information about him. This, according to Special Advisor Uche Anechuku, is with a view to run him out of office or force him to resign as the Deputy President of the Senate. He explained that the move includes scavenging through Senate accounts and committees he has served in for information about him. The Deputy President of the Senate argued that the effort is being spearheaded by the same people who had recently put up a staunch defense of bipartisan leadership in the legislature, which they said is consistent with the Constitution. He added that the move would fail just like the alleged forgery of Senate standing rules failed. As the trial of the Senate President continues, the matter has continued to generate intense reaction from prominent citizens across the nation. Latest to add his voice to the development story is Istifanas Mwansat, a former speaker and a sitting member of the Plateau State House of Assembly. He spoke with our Plateau State correspondent in this reports.
While some are of the opinion that the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, should step down from his position, others are crying foul that the entire process of the Code of Conduct Bureau has been flawed. The lawmaker argued that if corruption is to be fought squarely in the country, it should be holistic and that the crusade should not be a means of settling political dispute. He stated that the entire trial is not being done in good faith, adding that Saraki should not contemplate resignation at all.
I will advise Saraki to fight on. I will never advise Saraki to resign. Because if the allegations or what he is going through is in good faith, Saraki should resign. But I can assure you, what Saraki is going through, his persecutors, or those that raise those allegations against him, even if the allegations are true, the allegations are not raised in good faith.
The lawmaker, who called on President Buhari to tread carefully in his crusade, argued that those who assisted him to power are men and women of questionable conduct. Therefore, it cannot be said to be free of corruption. The lawmaker, who was speaker during the 6th Assembly in the state, said docking a sitting Senate President for what seems to be a targeted query is a bad omen for the country.
In the interest of this country, when I saw Saraki in the dock, tears rolled down from my eyes, because I know we are running into serious problems in this country. We are running into serious problems in this country. Yes, Buhari is fighting corruption. Perfect. That is good. He is a product of corrupt people. Yeah. Who amongst those people that stood for Buhari to emerge, first and foremost, as a candidate of APC? Then secondly, as the president of Nigeria, who amongst them is not corrupt?
Owasat vows to use the resources at his disposal to stand by the embattled Senate president until found not guilty, because the entire process and those behind the prosecution have not come to equity with clean hands.
So what are we talking about? The other day they were saying between 1999 and date, till date, over 18,000 assets have been declared. It is now that Saraki's declaration is the major issue. Not in good faith. And because of that, wallahi, I will stand with Saraki and all the way. He must fight on. Let's see where this thing will take us to.
As the nation awaits October 21 for the continuation of the Senate President's trial at the Court of Conduct Tribunal, it's expected that justice will be duly served.
The Senate has set up a committee to determine the actual number of Nigerians who died in the Hajj stampede in Mina, Saudi Arabia. The committee is also to work out a means of redress for the affected families. Senate President Bukola Saraki disclosed this in his welcome address to his colleagues after a 6-week recess.
Nigerian pilgrims who suffer physical injuries as a result of these two incidents are given adequate medical treatment. To constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the cause of these two incidents with a view to establish the true causes, identify the number of Nigerians that were affected, and establish the remedies for redress open to those affected, either individually or severally.
Meanwhile, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACO, on Tuesday said 10 more corpses of deceased Nigerian pilgrims had been identified, bringing the number of Nigerian pilgrims who died at Mina stampede to 64. Giving newsmen updates on the incident in Mecca, Oba Mana, the Director, Public Affairs of the Commission, said 244 pilgrims had been declared missing. Mana said 71 pilgrims were injured as against the 61 pilgrims earlier announced by the Commission. He said of the 64 deceased pilgrims, 46 were transported to Saudi Arabia by state pilgrims welfare agencies and 18 by private tour operators. Mana also noted that 12 of the 71 injured pilgrims were transported to Saudi Arabia by tour operators and 59 by state pilgrims welfare agencies. He said the deceased were from Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Ekiti, Jigawa, FCT, Cross Rivers, Gombe, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Kaduna, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Plateau, Rivers, Sokoto, Yobe, Taraba and Zamfara states. We'll take a break now, return with more stories. Just stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say. I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
This is still CoreTV News and this hour. For more of our news stories, join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV News. African First Ladies are in New York to discuss the effective means of contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. The women who met under the umbrella of Organization of African First Ladies are considering ways of reducing the prevalence rate of HIV/AIDS on the continent. It also provided an opportunity for wife of Nigeria's President Aisha Buhari to draw attention to the negative impact of the current insurgency on several women and children who now have to live in internally displaced persons camps. She was represented by the wife of the Senate President, Toyin Saraki. The issues raised as a result of the Lawrence stoning saga may not be resting soon. This is coming as the PDP in the state now accuses the state government of arbitrary arrest and intolerance of opposition. Our correspondent Rashid has more in this report.
In an apparent bid to fight back and wash itself off the 8-day stoning saga, the People's Democratic Party in Kwara State has asked the state government to stop blaming the opposition party for the stoning of the APC hierarchies, saying the annoyance of the people is as a result of the anti-people policy of the APC-led government.
Shortly after the unfortunate incidents of disruption of the Eid prayer at the praying ground on the Salah day, the APC Kwara State could not point any accusing fingers on the untold sovereigns and the hardship their policy of non-payment of workers' entitlement could cause them. That caused the governor also towing his party line, only saw the opposition as the only group that caused the problem for them on that day. The governor later, in a well-circulated press statement, accused only members of the opposition for the problems of his government.
While condemning the attack, the PDP accused the state government of using the stoning saga to haul its members into detention and further threat on the party's top echelon.
Any attempt to kill, arrest, or even illegally disturb our lawful activities will amount to intolerance of the opposition, which is antithetical to the workings and the practice of democratic governance. Democracy should be an open field of cross-fertilization of ideas, not a field of violence and bloodletting. Government has the highest duty to protect lives and properties and not create fear through sponsorship of violence and threat of violence.
But to the state government, the allegation is not only false, but baseless.
But basically, the allegation is false, it is malicious, it is preposterous, and also it's contemptuous and provocative. It's provocative because everybody knows what happened at the prayer ground, and every right-thinking Nigerians have condemned. Everybody has condemned what the area boys did, or what you can call people call the good boys. What they have done is condemnable. It's against our religion. It's against our culture. It's against God. Anybody who has not done that, then it has his own headache.
The police has been called upon by the PDP for protection, as the state government asked the security agency to subject the suspected hoodlums to thorough investigation. The last, however, may be far in sight.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has advocated a review of the existing laws prohibiting electronic voting in the country. The chairman of INEC, Amina Zakari, represented by INEC's national chairman, Lawrence Nwurukwu, disclosed this on Tuesday in Abuja during the post-2015 Electoral Reform Symposium organized by the National Democratic Institute and other civil society organizations. She pointed out that the scientific system of voting has become an unavoidable reality, as evident in the major role technology played in the success recorded in the 2015 general election. The INEC chairman emphasized the need for comprehensive electoral reforms ahead of the 2019 general election. The Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Ado-Ekiti has dismissed the case filed by the candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the Ekiti South Senatorial District, Tony Adeniyi, for lack of merit. The judgment affirmed the victory of the Deputy Minority Chief Whip of the Senate, Abiodun Olujimi, as the winner of the March 28 senatorial election. Our correspondent Rashid has more in this report.
With the presence of heavy security personnel at the court premises, this displays the importance of the task ahead. Tony Adeniyi, the All Progressives Congress candidate at the Ekiti South senatorial election, has challenged the victory of Abiodun Olujimi of the PDP. He prayed the court to declare him the winner of the election or order a rerun, hinging on the allegation that Olujimi did not resign at the Nigerian Communications Commission 30 days before the election date. But in a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Patricia Obayi on behalf of the chairman, the tribunal dismissed the petition, saying it lacks merit.
NCC is established by law. So our view is that it is applicable. She must resign. But the tribunal, in their wisdom, 3 wise men, they have done their bit, and they construed it to mean that she is not a public servant.
The judgment was a scholarly one. It was apt, and the judges actually went into deep research.
Tony Adeniyi, however, vows to appeal the judgment.
We are just heading for the Court of Appeal, I can assure you. All I pray is that the necessary papers should be made available to us so that we have gone through this type of process. So I'm not deterred as a client, and I'm not deterred as a lawyer to pursue my right to the apex court.
They can go to appeal, they can go to Supreme Court. The truth will be constant.
While the tribunal decides on this, tension is however high as the judgment regarding the elections of Ekiti Central Senatorial District is being awaited. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
We'll take another break now, return with more stories outside the country. Just stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back. On the foreign scene, Afghanistan's security forces have come under heavy fire as the battle to retake the city of Kunduz from the Taliban. Tuesday's counter-offensive took place just as the Taliban was said to be closing in on the city's airport after many of the security forces had fled. In an address to the nation on Tuesday, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani said security forces had retaken some government buildings and that the Taliban had sustained heavy casualties. The president said Afghanistan mobilized military reinforcement to take back Kunduz a day after Taliban fighters overran the strategic northern city in their biggest victory since being toppled from power in 2001. Clashes have erupted across the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as a result of ongoing confrontation between Palestinians and Israel forces at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. Along with other Knesset members from the Arab Joint List Coalition, Jamal Zalka was present at the Al-Aqsa compound on Tuesday to protest recent visits to the holy place by Jewish organizations and entry restrictions on Palestinian worshippers. Speaking on behalf of the right-wing organizations and settler groups, Zalke said they have no problem with Jewish visitors, but they have a problem with groups that come to provoke Palestinians. Since Monday morning, Palestinian men under the age of 50 have been barred from visiting the mosque, while women have not faced any age restrictions. The Israeli police spokesman was not available for comment. The mosque is the third holiest site for Muslims. It is an occupied territory, and Palestinians have a right to defend their places of worship. And that's it on CoreTV News and this hour. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nena Nyama. Good afternoon.